Hello, friends. Like everything else in universe, even our solar system has an expiration date, and we are discussing about the fate of the solar system, not the entire universe, because entire universe has a very long life. Let's discuss about the solar system. What is going to happen? We know that. Our sun will eventually turn into white dwarf. What will happen then? How the solar system will be will look like when the sun disappears and becomes a white dwarf. uh, However, before we start that concept, let us have a recap. You see, the sun and the solar system was born about 5 billion years back, and it has evolved into the stable formation that we see today. That means all the planets are there, going minding their own business, going in their own orbit, and we feel that this is the steady state and nothing is going to change. However, lots have changed in the planetary motion, and some planets were formed outwards, they were pushed inside, and then there are certain planets which were formed inside were pushed outwards, and that process will continue, even though from our point of view it will happen very slowly. Now 99.9% mass of the entire solar system is in the sun. So sun is predominantly is a great giant ball of fire, nearly 330 100,000 times bigger than Earth. 330,000 Earth can fit into sun. So such sun is such a huge body. Almost 99% is made of hydrogen, and therefore the energy of sun is basically because of the fusion of hydrogen, and it will continue in that fashion for about 10 billion years. When the hydrogen start to deplete, most of the hydrogen for 10 billion years would have become helium. So sun will undergo a formation or a stage of life where it has to become much more energetic in order to fuse helium, and this is a survival game basically. If the sun does not fuse helium, then it is the end. So for a billion year or so it will continue to fuse helium, and once that happens, because the material is now reduced, and because of that sun's gravity will not be enough, and then because of this extra heat, the temperature required for fusing helium is about 100 million degrees. 100 million degrees, because right now the core temperature is about 15 million degrees centigrade. The temperature has to increase, and when the temperature increase, the gravity would have reduced, and the sun will expel into a red giant. So when it becomes red giant, most of the inner planets will be swallowed by the sun, and we do not know whether Earth will be swallowed or it will be flung out in the outer space. We have no idea, but most probably Mercury, Venus, and Earth will be completely destroyed because of this increasing the size of the sun in the middle of the solar system. And once it has consumed all the inner planets, then it will actually shrink down to something called white dwarf. White dwarf is entirely supported by the electrons, because the material will get compressed, because everything else is actually flown out or flung out in the solar system, and because of this very high energy state, the red giant state, there is going to be a major difference in the solar system. Most of the material which is leftover material, as we call it today, which are asteroids and comets, will actually be grinded into fine dust particle. There will be a lot of commotion in the entire solar system. There will be a lot of action, very similar to when the solar system was born. When the solar system was born 5 billion years back, there was a lot of action and things were colliding, grinding, etc. Same thing will happen when the sun basically becomes a white dwarf. The gravity will not change drastically. However, the the composition of the sun will change. It will shrink down to probably 3 to 4 times the size of Earth, but highly compact material, and the pressure on the in the sun will be only supported by the electron degeneration. I mean that the electron requires a place in the quantum field that will prevent further collapse, and that is why the white dwarfs is formed. And so the gravity will not have much major difference. However, because of this formation, there will be a lot of grinding that will happen across the entire solar system, and that is what the scientists have seen also. When scientists look at other white dwarfs, they usually see a disk of debris or a cloud of debris, and the theory is that this cloud of debris is basically because of the grinding of all the smaller objects with each other. They start colliding, and there will be a lot of action happening in the solar system when the sun starts to become a white dwarf. Lot of large planets like Jupiter, etc., will also play a role in making sure that such grinding actually takes place, and there will be a major chaos when the white dwarf stage arrives. And maybe the smaller planets also will collide with each other and become smaller, and then further ground down into a cloud of dust which will cover the entire white dwarf. The larger planets or the outer planets will still continue to orbit the white dwarf. Planets like Saturn, Jupiter, and other outer planets. But inner planets will actually go through a major mayhem and lot of catastrophe. The first two planets will be completely swallowed by the red giant phase during the red giant phase, and rest will be basically broken down into small dust particles, very very microscopic dust particles, which will form a large cloud around white dwarf. And that is exactly what we have been noticing, that the white dwarf is usually surrounded by the cloud, and that is why it is not very clear to look at the white dwarf and to examine it. But thanks to the infrared telescopes like James Webb and others, we are able to peer through this cloud of dust and see what is inside and what is the composition of the white dwarf. The larger planets still continue. The solar system will not change drastically in terms of the size, the Oort cloud, etc. Some planets will get destroyed, but all the larger planets will continue their own usual business, going around the white dwarf and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a very action-packed phase, starting from 1 billion years from now, when the heat start to increase. Gradually it will increase, and then the sun starts to fuse helium at the core, and when the helium starts fusing in, it will actually create more temperature, more bang in the core of the sun, and therefore the sun will then swell into red giant. So this action will actually start at the end of the red giant phase, will start at the end of 10 billion years. However, the heat will increase after 1 billion year, and scientists believe that after 1 billion year from today, that means after 6 billion year of the total lifespan of sun, the earth will not be a livable planet. All the atmosphere and the oceans will evaporate, and earth will be left barren rock. So if the humans survive by that time, then it will be logical for humans to move to other outer planets like Saturn, and probably colonize Europa and Titan on Jupiter and Saturn, and because those areas will be survivable, and they will actually start feeling the warmth of the larger sun when it swell into a red giant phase. So this is exactly what lies ahead for us. For humanity survival, either we colonize other planets, go to outer solar system, establish our civilization in those satellites of the outer solar system, or by that time we probably become a galactical civilization where we start colonizing other solar systems. We would have the technology to travel to other solar systems and look at the habitable planets and establish our bases there. So lot can happen, but it is very clear that earth will not be livable anymore after 1 billion year, and all life as we know it today, including microscopic life, will perish. Probably some extremophiles will live for another 1 million or 2 million years, but then eventually everything will die on this planet. So friends, like to know if you have any opinion, any comments on this very interesting subject. I look forward to receiving your comments. But have a nice day, enjoy your day, and I will catch you in the next one very soon. Bye bye.